Hello and welcome back to GMAX Studios. In the last episode, I promised you that I would give you the easiest white balance lesson that you have ever seen. So, here it is. Before we start on white balance, it is very important to understand the concepts of cool, warm, and neutral. Any photograph that has got bluish tones is said to be cool, and any photograph that has red or orange tones is said to be warm. A photograph with no tones, where all the colors appear to be true, is said to be neutral. So here is a cool photograph. I don't mean cool in that sense, I mean that it has got cool tones to it. And here is a warm photograph. We say this because we can see a reddish or orange cast on the photograph. And here is a neutral photograph. We see that all the colors in this photograph are neutral and they are true as they are supposed to be. So it is very important to understand the distinction of all these three tones. So what causes these tones to appear in a photograph? If we look around, there are lights of different colors all around us. Even daylight changes its color at various times of the day. Now, it is these changing colors that cast a color on our photographs, and this is what confuses the camera, because it cannot determine exactly how to render the colors, making the photographs appear cool or warm. Without getting into the complete theory of color temperature, all you need to know is this, that most cameras have a color temperature setting between 2500 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin. Kelvin is a unit by which color temperature is measured. Photographically, all that we need to know is that lower the number, like 2500 Kelvin, the colder or cooler our photographs will be, and higher the number, like 10,000 Kelvin, the warmer our photographs will turn out to be. In between 2500 and 10,000, there exists a region of pure white light, which is at 5600 Kelvin. So actually, as far as photography is concerned, that is all you have to remember, and you have to imagine a flame. The more you heat, the more you increase the color temperature, the warmer your photograph gets. And the lesser your color temperature is, the cooler your photograph is. That is all actually that you have to remember while setting white balance. So for example, I have this little toy which is lit by this warm bulb, and it's casting a yellowish light on it. The minute I change my color temperature to 2700, the yellow cast is gone and the white becomes pure white. And this is actually what you need to tell the camera, that under any given lighting, this is white. Once you tell the camera that, all your other colors fall into place, and this is exactly what is white balance. 90% of the times, the auto white balance of the camera takes care of the white balance, but there are some times when you have to set it manually. So how do we do this? There are a few ways of doing this depending upon the camera that you use. The most obvious thing to do is to go to the white balance settings of the camera and change it to whatever lighting conditions you're shooting in. But that means memorizing all the different kinds of light that you shoot under, like fluorescent, direct sunlight, flash, cloudy, shade, etc. Because each of these readings has a different color temperature and will affect your photograph differently. And these are just estimates. They are not very accurate color readings of color temperature of the light at that point of time, and they might also differ from camera to camera. So the best way to get true colors under any situation is to do a custom or a preset white balance. And the easiest way to do a custom white balance is to show the camera a white piece of paper under any given light and take a picture. A more detailed description of how to white balance your Canon or Nikon cameras is given in the photography tip section. You can check it out there, or you can follow the links in the description. There are, of course, more specialized and advanced ways of white balancing your camera, like using a color checker or using an expo disc, which is a specialized disc for slapping on top of your lens and taking a picture. It is like a substitute for the white paper, only much more advanced. We shall discuss all these other methods at a later stage. But the real fun begins if you shoot in RAW and take your images to a post-processing software like Adobe Lightroom or Photoshop. You can tweak the colors to make the photograph look completely different from what it was shot like. This photograph, for example, looks like it's been shot in a full moon night. But actually, the original photograph is this. So white balance is just another way of gaining more creative control over your photographs. So strictly speaking, there is no right or wrong as far as white balance is concerned. It all depends upon the mood that you're trying to convey through a photograph. So this is the photograph of a friend that I shot late evening, and it's a fairly nice picture. His skin is warm because it's lit by the street lights and the sky is blue. But I thought I'll push the envelope, and I brought down the temperature to 2000, whereas the camera had made an automatic white balance reading of 2500 because that's what the camera is capable of. Now in this Lightroom, I can bring the temperature down to 2000. So his shirt became absolutely white, his skin became paler, but the sky became much more blue. And with a little bit of tweaks here and there, I quite like the picture that I ended up with. Picture. So as I said, some of you might prefer the warmer picture, or some of you might prefer this cooler one. It all depends on how you look at it and what you want. Usually, if there is a person present in the picture or we're taking a photograph of a person, we usually use the skin tone to determine how off the color balance is. So that is all that there is to white balance. Visit us on our website gmaxstudios.com and also at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Google+. All the links are given below in the description. In the next episode, we shall talk about the various metering modes that the camera has, and I will also tell you about the most important button on a camera. Until then, bye-bye.